if people continue this practice of just cutting down trees, you probably will not have a country in the next like 50 years. You know, there might be like a very huge erosion and then the whole country will disappear. So, where are you going to find your daily living then? Like, there just need to be a balance. We have to really start thinking deeply about the environment, sustainability, and all those sort of things. You know, you need to think beyond just the present, think about the future. Hi, YouTube fam. Good morning. How are you all doing? It's a very cloudy morning here. It rained all night last night, and I feel like it might still rain again today. It's about 7:30 a.m. here, but look, it still looks very dark and gloomy. But you know what? I actually likes when it's raining, as long as I'm not outdoors, as long as I'm not driving. It sounds a bit selfish, but like when I'm inside, either at home or at my office, and it's raining, I just love the atmosphere. So, yeah. Alrighty. So today's probably just gonna be like a random chit chat, or is this what I call a vlog? By the way, I'm at my office in Eastern Creek, and I'm doing a bit of sewing. Like, I have some orders that I need to finish by afternoon. I'm just trying to like work on it. Yeah. So, um, what do I want to talk about? I think I probably want to talk about like a continuation of my last video. Like the fruits, the indigenous fruits in my country, Nigeria, that is going into extinction. I mean, or are currently endangered. Endangered meaning in the next 5 to 10 years, they're probably not going to exist anymore because there's no one really making intentional efforts to actually preserve them. Like, even the trees that are existing, they're just growing by themselves. You know, it's not like someone has actually made an effort to plant them or grow them or preserve them. And those kind of trees, they're at the biggest risk of being cut down. You see, the ones that are probably existing, people just left it because they've not had need of the space. And then suddenly they have this like inflow of cash, then suddenly realize, oh, I need to put a story building there. And there goes the tree. Like, the reason for them having some of these fruit trees is not necessarily because they care about the tree. Possibly because they've not they don't have the cash flow to do more buildings, because people care more about buildings. They don't really care about the environment and the ecosystem. And you know, there are certain things that need to be there for everything to work perfectly. Everything has its use. The trees have its use. The grasses have its use. The animals have its use. When there's no balance of the ecosystem, that's where there's problems. And you even see problems of erosion, especially in areas where there's deforestation, where there's a large scale of cutting down of trees. Those areas are flood prone areas, because really those trees, they have a function, they have a role they play in kind of reducing the severity of perhaps the gush of water or the flow of wind. The trees break those things. So let's say like something that the severity is supposed to be really high, like maybe a gush of water, with the tree as a barrier, it's not going to be as damaging. But when you cut those trees, then there's just all those flow. And I also noticed like there's a problem in eastern Nigeria. There's a lot of areas that erosion has eaten deep into the road. Like, you just in the middle of a main road and there's a big crack. And then by the next rainy season, the crack keeps getting wider. Before you know it, it's like the road is fully divided. Like, you can't use that road anymore. Have you really sat down to deeply think what's the cause of all these things? Suddenly the roads are cracking, there's erosion that didn't used to exist before in the past. because in the past these trees were there, so these trees prevented this problem, but now we're cutting down all the trees and free for all, for the wind and for the water. So there's a lot of flooding, there's a lot of erosion, there's a lot of damage to the environment. You see, we have to really start thinking deeply about things and not just letting things just, live by the day, see how things flow. No, like we have to actually really be intentional. Which I don't know, it's so sad that I understand like the priorities in Africa is probably different. I mean, like people are probably more worried about, making a daily living because they need to survive. And they said it's only someone who's content that can think about all this thing. Trust me, that's not the case. Like you have to really start thinking about this thing because you think about the future of your country. Like if all these things get damaged, what is the future? Like what if people continue this practice of just cutting down trees? You probably will not have a country in the next like 50 years. There might be like a very huge erosion and then the whole country will disappear. So where are you going to find your daily living then? Like there just need to be a balance. We have to really start thinking deeply about the environment, sustainability, and all those sort of things. You know, you need to think beyond just the present, think about the future. For the longest time growing up in Nigeria, I never really knew there were wild animals. I never really knew that Africa was associated with wild animals. I mean, like, people be like, oh, they need to go to the safari in Africa. Because, quite frankly, I had never seen a wild animal. I'd never seen a lion, not even in the zoo. I've never seen a tiger, a giraffe, a crocodile, nothing. Like, the first time I actually saw a monkey was like when I was, I don't know, 13 years old. And we went to a conservation park, and I didn't really see the monkey up close. It was just jumping, just one tiny monkey. That's the first time. Well, I don't even know if monkey is a wild animal. What am I saying? We don't have wild animals in Nigeria. What happened to all the wild animals in Nigeria? It is still the same problem. All the wild animals, you need to go ask, all those chefs. They've used it for bushmeat. They call it bushmeat, and it's a delicacy. Any animal that is caught in the wild, it goes straight into the pot of soup. And they're not really thinking like it's not all animals you need to eat, you know. And even if you're eating them, I understand. Like, I mean, maybe there's hunger in the land. I understand that, but like, let there be some kind of control. Let there be some kind of balance to it. Maybe you kill some of those animals or you hunt them at a particular time and you don't hunt them at another time, so you can give room for them to like multiply. Or you don't just go recklessly. Yeah, everything you catch, it ends up in the pot of soup. So I really strongly believe that many, many, many centuries ago there used to be a lot of wild animals in Nigeria, but everything has ended in the pot of soup. You can't see any wild animal. There are no lions in Nigeria. No. So the first time I ever saw a lion in the zoo was when I came to Australia. And people were like, oh, Africa, are you from Africa? Nigeria, oh my gosh, how are the wild animals there? Oh, you got lions walking on the street. And I'm like looking at them like, really? Do you know, I have more chances of seeing a lion walking on the street here than in Nigeria. Where are you going to find that? They're not even in the zoo. It's a problem. So see, what happened to the animals in Nigeria might soon happen to all the fruit trees in Nigeria. And I'm just thinking about that, and I really need to do my own part, play my own bits, start from where I can start, and then hopefully, everyone can join in and do something for the environment. Save a fruit tree, save the trees, you know, start thinking about the future, sustainability, you know. Imagine if the fruits that I'm seeing at the moment that my children will not get to know of this fruit. Like when I'm telling them my childhood stories, they will not be able to have the opportunity to actually feel and experience and taste these fruits that I enjoyed as a child. I wouldn't want that kind of future, to be honest. So that is why I've chosen to do this project, and subsequent videos I will share with you some of the fruits that are on my list, fruit trees that are on my list of the ones that I want to preserve. Obviously that's limited to what I know, but I need to go beyond what I know. I need to research. And how do I do all those research? Also, it's limited to like the information I see on the web, because you know how like the villages, they're not really good with like recording things in database. They're more like storytellers. So the way they preserve the information is through oral history. To get to know more about the stories of these fruit trees, actually have to interview like the elderly people in the village, speak to the local farmers, and there will be more fruits that is not documented. I mean, more fruits that you would not find on the internet, because the traditional people, they don't store information that way. They store it in a different way. So first of all, I'll start with the fruits that I know that I can identify, and then once I start doing more research, I would be interviewing the local farmers in my village, Anambra State, and the elderly people. I'll do a survey of the farmland if they allow me. Walk through the farmland. They can tell me more stories about the fruit trees. We'll be able to identify what these fruits are, and then from there, once I have like a list of the fruit trees that I intend to start with, then I can then go about assembling either the seeds, or I can start then transplanting, whichever one that is possible. And I'm still looking around the possibility of transplanting full growing trees, so that if I put an information out there, put it sponsor an information, like put it in the radio and the TV station, on the newspaper, the local newspapers, and just put out information that if there's anyone who is wanting to cut down a tree because they're trying to like build a house, don't cut it down yet, just let us know, call us on this number, we're gonna come and we excavate the tree if it's possible, so we can replant it in my farmland. That is my future plans. That is what I'm intending to do. So I'm hoping to grow some of these trees from the seed, and I'm also aware like some of these trees take so many years to mature. But anyway, the project I'm doing is for the future, so I don't really mind how long it's going to take to mature, as long as it's thriving and I'm actually doing this thing. That's all that matters to me, matters for me. But I would also love to be able to transplant these trees, like the full grown trees, if it's possible. Yeah. I don't know if any of you know information about transplanting full grown trees. If you can just drop it in a comment below, but I'm gonna do my own research as well. So yeah, these are my plans. It will be like my own little garden of Eden, filled with indigenous fruit in the land, and the future for it. Because you know what, there are still like some people that don't even know of some certain fruits. Like perhaps someone from the west does not know of the fruits in the east, and vice versa. From the east doesn't know of the fruits in the west. We can do all those kind of cultural exchange. Imagine like my farmland has all this indigenous fruit, and we can then have schools doing education tour, like coming down to the farmland, bringing all the kids, and then they're exploring the farmland and telling them about the fruit trees. Like sometimes you're living in a land, you don't even know the fruits that are native to that land. You see, it's possible. So getting them to know about the fruits in the land where they live in, that's the future that I have for this project. And I'm actually very excited. I'm very passionate about it, and my passion drives me. So yeah, so I can't wait to carry you all along on this journey. I will be sharing more information on this soon as I get my hands on it. Like, I'm now getting those fruit lists, um, but I want to have like an extensive list that is not limited to just what I know. So that involves me being there in the village and interviewing these old people, like I earlier said, and then getting to know of the fruits that they knew existed in their area. I can imagine there will be fruits that existed in their area that doesn't exist anymore today. Because even me, like the fruit of my childhood doesn't exist today. You can then imagine interviewing a 95-year-old woman. It's a very sad situation that if something is not done about this, we're gonna lose all this amazing fruit. And there's these things about Africa not valuing what they have. They think what other nations have is more important or better than what they have. So as a result, they don't really put much value to what they have. But you know what? Other nations, they're looking out for what your nation have, and they want to explore because what they have is boring to them. So they're excited about trying new things. But you've not preserved what you have, and then you're more excited about what they have, and they're more excited about trying what you have. So let's start thinking deeply about this, and we can start with you. You know, if you have like a tree in your house, a fruit tree in your village house, protect it. Do everything you can not to cut it down. And this is how we spread this information. You spread this video. If people are aware of the importance of these fruit trees, of preserving these fruit trees, then from one person to two people to 100 people to 1,000 people, and everyone starts saving these fruit trees, it's gonna make a difference, So yeah, I hope I will be able to. I believe I can achieve everything that I've put my mind into. So it's not even about like I hope I'll do it, because yeah. Anyway, thank you all for listening to my little video, and yeah, I hope to see you on the next video. Please don't forget to like this video, to drop a comment, to share if you can, and to subscribe. And thank you all to all my newest subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.